just to set the scene for everyone. So we had agreed to meet up to go mini golfing, and this was during COVID, so you had to have your mask and stuff on. So we set a time, and I'm always early for everything. Right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, always early for everything. So I got there and I was waiting outside because I didn't want to have to put my mask on. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm like, okay, it's now the time we were supposed to meet. Okay, he must be running late. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm like, I don't want to be needy. I don't want to call. I don't want to text. And as you'll recall, previously I'd mentioned I'd been ghosted quite a bit. And I'm thinking, oh no, this was going so well. And then I decided before I call you, I was going to go inside to see if you were there by any chance. And before we go any further, I'm going to flip it over to you for the he said version of that. What were you thinking at this time?
So I was waiting inside for you, of course, wondering why you were late, because you're never late. And so I was just wondering, and at first I think I had gotten there a little fairly early.
Which is abnormal.
Yes. So I was inside. I played a couple of the video games and stuff, waiting for you to come. And I started looking at my watch. I'm like, what's going on? She's not here. But I wasn't really, I figured it was kind of I wasn't so worried that you were ghosting me. I figured it was just some kind of misunderstanding or something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's from the different experiences we had. So, and that's probably where that ties in. And then, of course, I went to go in and you went to come outside to check, and we laughed and had a great mini golf game. I think I actually won that too.
Probably. Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like I won the first bet on our hockey games too. Yeah, that was great too.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't discuss
We shouldn't discuss that. Red and blue. That should be enough to emphasize that there is a lot of conflict. It's a house divided every year. Battle of Ontario.
The scars from Maple Leaf Game 7s over the years run very deep.
Hi, and welcome back to 50s Unscripted. My name is Shelley, and I am so excited to have you here as we film the final episode of Season 1. Can you believe we're already here at the end of that? Thank you so much for coming today. And for those of you who are new, I am 52 years young with 3 amazing young women, engaged to my amazing partner, Dan. And I have a mini poodle. I work full time. I deal with various mental and physical health issues. I've successfully started over and found my way after separation and after starting over on my own at the age of 45. I've learned how to prioritize my self-care. Work in progress, always stumble and get back up. And I've taken control of my weight, losing over 80 pounds. 20 more to go. We'll get there eventually, but it's definitely in the right direction. My learning and growth is definitely not done, because change is inevitable and a part of everything that we do, because life is unscripted and it's not a television show. It's not a movie. It's not going to go the way you plan. So I am embracing the second act and enjoying every minute of it. I started this podcast as a way to share my lived experiences and offer an opportunity to create a sense of community. Sometimes we can feel very isolated, very alone. We feel like our problems are bigger than they are, or nobody would understand. So hopefully there's something that you found that either resonated or gave you courage to maybe talk to someone and ask for help, or just, open up about some of the challenges that you're facing. So as this is the final episode for Season 1, I am already busy planning for next season, and I cannot wait to show you what's coming next. And we'll talk about that more at the end. But throughout these episodes, I've been sharing what I've done and found my way to being happy again. And I've talked a lot about my recent engagement and my partner, Dan. So what would be better fitting than to end with a very special He Said, She Said episode. So I am excited to have Dan join us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll kind of give you the he said, she said on starting over and how we found each other. So with that, welcome. Did you want to say a few words and talk about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Dan. So I'm Shelley's fiance. I'm a health and safety manager. I work in the warehousing and transportation industry. I'm in my 50s as well. So I'm dealing with the same sort of unscripted type of stuff. I have 2 sons that are 21 and 27, and I'm happy to be here today and to have this conversation.
Well, thank you again for joining me and being here to do this. So I've been talking a lot about how I started over. So you have been in similar situations and you've had to start over. So what were some of the challenges you faced? Because I know for yourself, it was a little different than mine. You went from being in a very busy family home to an empty nester. So your experience starting over would have been a little different. So did you want to expand on some of the things that you had to adjust to and what difficulties you had to overcome?
Yeah, it was a difficult time because I was going through a separation. My boss at work had left, so I'd just gotten a promotion, taken on a ton of responsibility. Was also trying to find a new place to live. Was dealing with other difficult things in the family as well at that time. So it was a difficult transition. I really made an effort to try and keep things together at the end of my marriage, and in the end, it just was obvious that it just wasn't gonna happen. It was best for everybody to just kind of move along. So yeah, it was a very difficult time. I had a lot of things going on, and every day I was kind of not really knowing what the day was going to bring. So.
What was the biggest change when you became that empty nester? Like, did you notice anything? Like, was it hard being on your own again, or were you able to adjust to that? Like, was there anything you had to do to kind of overcome some of that, or?
In some ways, I kind of liked it. It was some freedom that that I hadn't had kind of previously. I always felt like the time when I was alone, when I was in my own space kind of thing, I felt like it was kind of the transition period, like the way station between what my life was before and what it was going to become. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. But it always felt very temporary, that portion. So it was, it was good. I got into my own routines and things like that. And being an introvert, it was kind of good to have the time on my own. But yeah, it was an interesting time.
And you just mentioned routine, so I think that's really great because you run. So you have to follow certain routines and you have to kind of stick to it because it's got to be hard some days where you just don't feel like it. And especially when you're dealing with so many things, you just don't feel like going for that run or you don't feel like doing it. So how did you keep some of those routines going and what do you do to keep that in check?
I've always been pretty consistent with the running. So I think that helps. I think that helps me a lot in a lot of areas of life, marathon running. Even though I don't run marathons anymore, I stick to the shorter stuff now. But I find that kind of consistency and dedication and routine is really very helpful. And I did that a lot myself when I was living by myself. So I had, every Sunday afternoon was groceries, every Sunday night was laundry, every Saturday morning I'd get up and clean the apartment and do all the kind of things that needed to be done kind of thing. So I was kind of used to the routine actually, and I kind of enjoyed actually developing my own program.
Okay, cool. Now, how did you keep engaged with your kids? Because the kids didn't live with you. So what did you do, or how did you make sure that you were still involved and working with them and helping them?
Yeah, so initially Nick did come with me. So he lived in the apartment with me. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. And the master bedroom was kind of a whole almost studio apartment in and of itself. So I gave him that. And then I took the rest of the apartment. So he was there with me. So that was good. Nathan was, I wouldn't say it like it's never been hard to stay in touch with Nathan. One thing I would say, like with my ex-wife, we've always been very focused on doing whatever's best for the kids. And there hasn't been a lot of fighting or acrimony or any of that kind of stuff. She's been really great that way. I've tried to be, open and, just doing, just go with the flow kind of thing. I don't want to make it any worse than it is. So Nate was always, and I was like 10 minutes away when I moved out. So I was always able to just go over and see him anytime that I wanted. And yeah, we spent a lot of time together. He was playing baseball at the time, so I took him to all his baseball games.
There you go.
All that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, that's good. And what did you learn about yourself? Like, did you discover anything when you were starting over? Did you learn anything new or something different that you didn't realize?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of was pretty shut down towards the end of my marriage, and I think getting back on my own, I kind of opened up a lot more. I think kind of became a little more in touch with, who I was and what I was feeling and what I was going through and that kind of thing.
Okay, that's great. And I know you do a lot of stuff also for personal time because you do like music. And so did that help, like having that? Because I know that's one way that you and your son
Yes.
also get involved, right?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I spent a lot of time when I was just on my own, just learning, just playing guitar. I took lessons like 20 years ago and then hadn't played for a long time and kind of really got into it when I was on my own. And that became a really good thing with Nathan as well, because he's a fantastically talented musician.
Very.
And so there is not much that is more enjoyable than playing music with your kids. It is really great. We get together once or twice a week and just play guitar and sing songs, and he'd do some and I'd do some, and we might do a few together kind of thing. He would jump in on background vocals on my songs, and so that was great fun.
That's awesome. That's great. And so that's the self-care piece, which is perfect because it let you get back into that. So when and why did you just decide, like when did you realize you were ready to get out and start dating again? What kind of things did you do when you decided you wanted to see what else was going to be out there?
It took a little while. I think I was pretty conscious of just taking some time for myself before starting to get out there. And then when I started to think about, maybe moving on kind of thing, signed up for some websites and, all the match.com and all that. So I didn't really have a lot of success, honestly, for the first little bit. It was, it was pretty quiet on that front, but I wasn't really like pushing for anything. I was just, it's kind of taking things as it came.
Yeah. So similar experiences at the start, then a lot of hit and misses.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get to the he said, she said part.
Right.
As you know, I've already done the episode where I talked about meeting you, and I know you watched that one. So what was your initial reaction? Like, so how did, what were you thinking? How did you feel?
I was kind of just at the point where, I thought it was time to go out and, start dating again. And, we had chatted a bit and talked about getting together and doing it in person. I thought, well, it's time for me to get out and start meeting new people. I didn't have any great expectations. Like I was just kind of, let's just go have a drink and see what happens and have a conversation. And I didn't think that it would lead to being engaged 5 years later. I was just...
Neither did I.
I just thought, well, it's, this is something fun to do on a Friday night. And we'll see how it goes.
There you go. And what was your initial reaction? Was there any fear? Like once you saw me, any nerves, anything that you're like, oh, because as I said, like when I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, he looks very different than his picture. He's not going to like me. Like I was really nervous when I met you. Yeah,
no, I didn't have any kind of like concerns or reactions or anything like that. I was just saying, well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I was more concerned about the COVID protocols.
Yeah. And I think we saw Rabbit, and then we realized we were there for 3 hours.
Yes. We just talked for 3 hours, and it went by really quickly. And it was great.
There you go. That was good. Yeah, it was a very good. And I know we got together the following Monday. I think you called and asked if I wanted to go for a walk.
Yes.
I thought it was very sweet that you asked to hold my hand.
Yeah, yes.
I was like, why isn't he holding my hand? And then you asked, and I thought that was really cute.
Well, I didn't want to overstep. It was only a second date.
So let's talk about one of our other dates. And I know you'll laugh at this one. So you remember the mini golf date?
I do.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So just to set the scene for everyone. So we had agreed to meet up to go mini golfing. And this was during COVID. So you had to have your mask and stuff on. So we set a time, and I'm always early for everything. Right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, always early for everything. So I got there and I was waiting outside because I didn't want to have to put my mask on. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And I'm like, okay, it's now the time we were supposed to meet. Okay, he must be running late. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm like, I don't want to be needy. I don't want to call. I don't want to text. And as you'll recall, previously I'd mentioned I'd been ghosted quite a bit. And I'm thinking, oh no, this was going so well. And then I decided before I call you, I was going to go inside to see if you were there by any chance. And before we go any further, I'm going to flip it over to you for the he said version of that. What were you thinking at this time?
So I was waiting inside for you, of course, wondering why you were late, because you're never late. And so I was just wondering. And, at first I think I had gotten there a little fairly early.
Which is abnormal.
Yes. So I was inside. I played a couple of the video games and stuff, waiting for you to come. And I started looking at my watch. I'm like, what's going on? She's not here. But I wasn't really, I figured it was kind of I wasn't so worried that you were ghosting me. I figured it was just some kind of misunderstanding or something like that.
And I think that's from the different experiences we had. So, and that's probably where that ties in. And then, of course, I went to go in and you went to come outside to check, and we laughed and had a great mini golf game. I think I actually won that too.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Kind of like I won the first bet on our hockey games too. Yeah, that was great too.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't discuss
We shouldn't discuss that. Red and blue, that should be enough to emphasize that there is a lot of conflict. It's a house divided every year. Battle of Ontario.
The scars from Maple Leaf Game 7s over the years run very deep.
Yes, I know they do.
Yes.
But you had fun at the first round last year, so,
Yes.
Yeah. So that's fine. Anyways, we'll move on. It's always been fun. And that's the one thing I do like, is that we can joke around. I remember when we were first dating, you were playing air hockey or something like that with one of the girls, I think with Natalie, and you made the bet to wear the jersey. And you actually put on one of my jerseys, which I thought was hilarious. And you even let me take a picture of it, which was even better. So I do love the fact that you're so open and willing to make jokes and stuff about that.
Well, if I make a bet, I have to pay up.
There you go. So we've talked about the fact that you were an empty nester. You have 2 boys. What was your reaction the first time? Like, I know when I first introduced you to the girls, we went for a walk at the park, and it was a little awkward because they were still kind of, it was new, and whose mom introducing them to and everything. But it went well, I think, everybody had their own. But then you came over for dinner. Yes. And so empty nester, family of boys, any stereotypes broken, overwhelming feelings? Like, what was your initial reaction? And I remember from our conversation, we went out for a walk after, but...
Yeah, that was crazy, insane energy. I've never seen anything quite like that. There was always 3 conversations going on throughout the entire dinner. It was insane.
Simultaneously,
yes. It was hard to follow. It wasn't bad. Like I wasn't put off by it at all. But it was a lot. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath and just kind of zone out a little bit here for a minute and just kind of take this all in.
And then how did you cope with that? Because a lot of the things that we did after that, my girls were in cheerleading. So you went from, you're very introverted, music, quiet, and suddenly we're in these arenas with more glitter and hairspray and sparkle than you've probably ever seen in your life. So how did you cope with some of those experiences?
Well, I would go for a walk if it got to be too much, for sure. It was interesting. It's a new experience for sure. Nothing like previous. But my boys both played rep sports, so I was kind of used to that sort of concept. It was just a different sport type of thing. So yeah, I had to. There were times when I had to kind of step away from it, but I kind of understood it. And, I got it.
Yeah. And then they also, my girls do like a lot of sports. So we've got one that's completely hooked to hockey. We did the lacrosse that they all love.
Yes.
More for the fighting, I think, than anything else.
I think they just enjoy watching people beat each other with sticks.
Yeah, which is quite funny. But so since then, you've moved in. So what was the biggest adjustment for you? And I can think of a few, but what was one of the things that you found hardest moving into a house full of women, including the dog, who's female as well? Like, we're all women in this house.
Yes. It's interesting. I was used to having time to myself. And like I said, I'm an introvert. So I was used to having time. I enjoyed spending time with you and the girls, but I also was used to having time to myself to go and zone out and do my own thing. So the loss of that, to a degree, not entirely, of course, but that was a little bit of an adjustment. I think just getting into a new set of routines and new set of everything. It was just a complete reset.
Yeah. And then struggling with the fact that we only had one shower. We only have one shower in the house. So that's definitely a challenge.
Yes. 1 shower and 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, so do we want to talk about
You can talk about the Tim Hortons run. Yeah, that was funny.
So I was particularly frustrated one night, probably just frustrated in general.
Yeah.
And, yes. So Natalie, I think, was up in the bathroom or something, and Gray was in the bathroom downstairs. And I had to really go to the bathroom, and it was just like, anyways, it's just waiting and waiting. And so finally I got frustrated and just said, I'm leaving. I'm going to Tim Hortons, and I used the bathroom there.
I remember
Tim Hortons doesn't have any showers, unfortunately, so I couldn't do that. But yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even think Gray was in the bathroom. I think it was just she was downstairs. And I'm like, there's a door, but I know it's one of those weird doors or
yes,
whatever. Yeah,
right.
so
yes.
But it was quite funny, and it's definitely something. And I do like the fact that we joke and pick on each other a lot about these things. Like, we can get over it. And that's one of the things that in starting over, and I think we both came from that, from coming from marriages that didn't work out, we put in that effort. So even though there was a little frustration, so I was a little hurt by what, you storming out, you were upset because of that, but we were quick. And I do like the fact that if one of us does have one of those days, you're always open to talking and just, it's okay, like, go through it. And even when, because I know for me, it's a huge thing for you to adjust to as well because of my fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. I know my disability sometimes can be overwhelming. And I feel bad because I feel like I'm not doing anything. And you're very supportive and understanding and encouraging. So when I start to beat myself up a bit for that. So I like that. Was there any kind of, like, do you put extra thought into how we cope with some of those things based on that to make sure that we keep moving forward? Or like...
Well, one thing I find with us is I think we're both very open and accepting of each other's faults and foibles and things like that. I try to just be understanding of, all the things. And I know you're very understanding of my stuff as well. So I think that's one area where we're really good, is that we don't expect perfection out of each other. And we're very accepting of each other's, mistakes and things like that.
Absolutely. And especially when I don't hear you properly. So I know you've been very accepting of that. What have been, and we'll get to that one, what have been some of the best experiences for you?
It has been really great. I would say, obviously I never had daughters, and I always felt a little bit, disappointed by that. And the girls obviously aren't my daughters biologically or anything like that, but it's been nice to get to know them and to spend time with them and just see them growing up and see them branching out. And that part has been really, been really fun and rewarding for me.
Yeah, and you're the bonus dad, so they definitely,
the bonus dad. Yes.
Yeah, you're the bonus dad, so that's good. And it's the same. I always wanted boys, and I never had any, so it's nice, to interact with the boys and see that and get to learn that side of things as well, right? So, I know one of the things I love is that we do a lot of day trips. Like, one thing that you've helped me get more involved is being more in tune with nature. So we've done hiking, we've done like going to conservation parks and stuff, and we do, of course, our regular trip. I think our first day trip was to Niagara Falls, which was great during COVID, nonetheless. Yes. So we've got tons of pictures of us in face masks in front of the falls and everything like that.
Yes.
But that was fun. And so my reference to the 3 times was when we went to the whirlpool. The whirlpool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that was the day we told each other how we felt. And you were the one who actually told me first. And I didn't hear you the first time. I honestly did not. I'm going to, for the record. And then the second time I was like, there's no way he just said that. I'm going to say it back and something's going to sound really weird. And so then I asked you a third time. So what would you have done if I would have kept saying, what?
Yeah, it was a little awkward saying I love you to someone for the first time and they didn't hear you 3 times. You have to repeat it.
You've never let me live that down either, though.
No, I never miss an opportunity to give you a hard time about that whenever I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was okay. Those are just the moments of life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it gives us a great story to tell years down the road, and I'm sure we'll tell that story at our wedding. And,
just like we're not gonna, use the boat at the wedding venue just for the sake of you not knowing how to dock a boat, right?
So I'm accepting no responsibility for this one.
But today you're not, because it's on film, so you won't accept the responsibility. So we went away on a vacation. It was our first vacation, which was great. And we went to a cottage, and we were trying to dock the boat. And his story is that I just bent over too far. My story is, well, we're docking. You need to hold us to the dock so that I can actually tie off. And I ended up in the water. So,
Yeah, I mean, I can't change the laws of physics. You leaned over the boat, side of the boat, to the extent where your center of gravity was such that You fell into the water.
As I said, he said, she said. There's two stories to everything. And his family's probably going, oh my gosh, here they go again.
Certainly the girls are, because they've heard that conversation more.
Yeah, they like to get involved in that. And it's funny because when we like to go to Elora Gorge as well.
Yes.
And there's one part at Elora where you can actually be down in like right at the waterbed. So you're kind of standing in where you're on stones in kind of the middle. And my daughter tracks where I am. And she messaged you, did you throw mom off the boat again? Because it looked like I was standing in the middle of the gorge.
We were standing on rocks in the middle of the stream. And it looked like
so
you
it
were
is an ongoing
joke. Right in the middle of the gorge.
So there's so many more stories we could share. But we're at a new chapter. We're getting married. Holy crap. I'm still in shock over that. Yeah. I know the girls, and I remember for myself, I was stressed because the girls were like, you just need to get her a ring. And I'm like, could you stop? No, he doesn't. I'm like, oh my gosh. So what was the thought, what made you decide to propose?
I just think our relationship had just kind of reached the point where that's kind of what we were anyways. You know, we were basically spouses as it was. And I just felt like, you know, I just got tired of calling you my girlfriend. I just thought, you know, it's time for us we might as well just, you know, take the plunge. Life is short. You know, we never know what's around the bend. So, and I think I just wanted to do something really positive for us and for the family and just, you know, let's just go ahead and do this. Yeah. So I've been thinking about it for maybe 3 months or so. And I kind of had that idea of proposing where I proposed at our spot. The same place we said our I love yous the first time. So I'd been thinking about that, and then it just kind of, the timing and everything snuck up on me. I was very nervous about not having the ring. Yeah. So I wasn't sure if I was going. So it was even like right up to even that weekend, I was kind of like, should I do it? Should I not? You know, should I wait? Not should I not, but should I wait? Yeah. Kind of things. And so anyway.
Well, and that was the funny thing, because I remember we would go out because we'd had our 5th anniversary, and you would get so pensive, and I'd be like, is everything okay? And you're like, yeah. And then I'm like, is he thinking what I think he's no, nothing happened. Okay, not. And there were a couple of times, like, because I was starting to wonder, and I'm like, and then I started thinking about it more. I'm like, well, what would I? Yeah. Say yes. Like I would want to do that too. Yeah. I bet you were relieved that you didn't have to ask me 3 times this time. So,
absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I heard it the first time.
Yes. I didn't have any pre-planned speech or anything like that. I was just winging it. But
yeah, I remember because at first I didn't think you were because I thought, oh, maybe he's going to do it here. And then, oh no. And then you kind of went, I know this is unconventional. And I was like, holy crap. I think he's about to he's proposing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking forward to it, and I love the fact for myself, and I think this is something we both agreed on. It's a second wedding, but we're not like the wedding is just a formality for us. Yeah. It's more about our kids and our family and getting to celebrate it. And I love that we're both taking a very laid back and you know. We've got the spot picked out. Like, there are a few things because I am a little anxious and I get nervous about stuff. So there are things that I'm like quickly planning because that's just who I am. Right. And you know that, so that's good. I do. But you know, the fact that we're kind of letting the girls help and the kids help to kind of, you know, engage and involve and be part of it is nice. And I think that's the one thing anybody doing a second marriage, like honestly, I did the big white wedding. I don't need another big white wedding. I just want to have a big party and celebrate and, you know, being able to show everybody where we're at kind of thing. Yeah,
for sure. So, yeah, I feel the same way. I just want to have a nice relaxing party with our friends and just do a celebration.
Yeah. And then, you know, we'll do something afterwards with the kids and whatnot. And I like the fact that we're looking at doing something for the honeymoon. So just some kind of vacation to check out different areas that we have been.
There are so many beautiful areas in Canada. Like we don't even need to, we could go to the Caribbean and lie on the beach for a week, but after a while, that gets pretty old.
You couldn't lie on a beach for a week. You'd be bored out of your tree.
I couldn't. You're right. You're right. 3 days would be fantastic. Yeah. But I couldn't lie on a beach for a week. No. But there's so many fantastic areas in Canada. I can't wait to.
Yeah, we'll pick one and we'll figure out where we're going to go. So stay tuned. We'll figure out where that's going to be. So any advice that you have for anyone else who, you know, going through a separation with kids, like in your situation where the kids aren't with them. Any advice or guidance you would give them, or any advice to anybody starting over in a relationship that there are new kids that you would share?
Yeah, so I think with the girls, I have kind of been conscious of, I guess, two things. So first of all, like I'm not the parent. Mm-hmm. They have two parents that are both involved, and they love both parents, and I would want them to have the best possible relationship with both parents that they possibly can. So I've made a conscious effort. I think my role is more to be a support person for them, to help them. I'm there if they want to talk about things. I'm happy to talk things out with them. I keep it pretty much confidential what they say to me, you know, unless it was something where they were in danger or something, I would absolutely, obviously tell you. But, you know, most of the stuff, I just try and be, you know, an extra support person for them. I don't try to, I basically, I let them set the pace in terms of, you know, the relationship and how much interaction they want to have with me and things like that. They've all at one time or another kind of wanted to, you know, go for a drive or talk to me about stuff. So I'm quite happy to do that, but I kind of just let them, you know, set the pace. If they want to talk to me, I'm perfectly fine and open and ready to talk. But I'm also, if they want to do their own thing or if they want to hang out with their parents or whatever, that's perfectly fine as well. So yeah, it's just kind of leaning back and just letting things happen, and I'm there if they need me, but I'm trying not to be too, you know, in their face or anything like that.
Yeah, no. And I know they like the fact that they can easily just, you know, drop keywords like ice cream or...
Yeah, they're gaslighting me all the time.
Yeah, ice cream is a good one because it doesn't work on me anymore, so...
Yeah, ice cream, molasses cookies.
Molasses cookies, yes.
Starbucks.
Yeah, hockey.
Hockey, yes. Hockey. Yes.
Yeah, or the... do you really want mom to cook tonight?
Yes.
That one gets you in a little trouble, though. Sometimes I am cooking, you know.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much for coming and joining today. I really appreciate it. And I know it's not your comfort zone, so it means a lot that you came and did this. I love where the future's going. And I want to also thank you because my kids are always there for me. My kids always support me, but you have been truly my biggest champion. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair doing this today. When I actually came in to talk with the studio about doing this, like when we left, I was like, okay, so you were there to talk me out of this, and you're like, oh heck no, you're going to do this. You know, yes. You were like, you have to do it, and here's why. So, and I love the fact that you're always there. You helped me so many times. Like, you know, I had surgery early on, and you took the time, and you know, when my dad passed away, you were right there helping. You did a lot of the traveling, bringing the kids back and forth, and you didn't have to. Like, we were still early in our relationship. And I cannot thank you enough for being that constant cheerleader and support for me. And it means a lot. And I'm looking forward to next August and tying the knot and just making it official, because I agree. Calling you my boyfriend when I'm 52 years of age is a little awkward. Yeah, my boyfriend, my partner, it's just not right. So yeah, so being able to say my husband will be a lot better. Any closing words, anything you want to share? Because I do know you also have your own writing and stuff that you do on Substack.
Yes. Yeah. So I have my own writing business called Keystroke Communications, and I write a health and safety newsletter each week called Safety Pro Weekly. So you can find that on the interwebs. It's on Substack and LinkedIn as well. Yeah. So I do that. You know, I like to run, like to do music.
And any other last words of wisdom, any tips or anything that you want to give anybody?
I don't know that I'm the right person to be giving wisdom and tips. But yeah, I mean, I just try to do. I mean, I just try, you know, each day to just kind of evaluate each day as it comes and let things go. Like, you know, particularly with, you know, having teenagers. I will say, I really expected there would be a lot of difference between 3 teenage girls versus growing up with the teenage boys. But there's actually not as much difference. Obviously, the specifics are a little different. In terms of the problems that they're dealing with, but I don't find it, but there's a lot of universal themes of growing up and trying to find yourself and trying to, you know, navigate your place in the world and things like that. So I was probably more surprised at the similarities between the two than I was at the differences.
Well, that's great. Well, again, thank you so much for coming. And thank you to all of you for supporting me in this first season of 50s Unscripted, Embracing My Second Act. One of the things I'm hoping to do next season, and I've already started work on it, is to line up some other exciting guests and friends that I have to come in and share their experiences. So be sure to go to the website. There's a form you can fill out if you think you have a story you'd like to share. The website is www.50sunscripted.com. So all spelt out, and would love to have you. Be sure to go there. It will tell you when the next podcast is coming. It will tell you how you can get access to other articles, because I too am on Substack under 50s Unscripted. So look us up and come. Thank you again so much. Be sure to like and subscribe. Go back and watch the videos you missed. Rewatch them. Tell a friend. Bring somebody else. Have a great time, and be kind, stay strong, be you, and we will see you again soon.